All right.
Well,
So go ahead and open that up.
I've never done this before. Oh,
So
man.
sticks right there to hold the trunk lid up. Pull that down, and it goes in a little receptacle there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people always ask, well, why do these cars have fitted luggage? Now you know why.
The spare.
There's not much room in there but a spare.
But I have a tool kit.
You have a toolkit.
It looks old and original.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Do I have all the bits?
That's a good question.
Whoa.
You have some bits.
I think this might have been used in a home renovation
That
and they
looks
just
like
shoved it back
yeah,
in there.
that looks like it might be from the hardware store.
Okay.
But yeah, so these toolkits, I mean, these if you follow Bring a Trailer, these can go up to about $10,000 or $15,000 for a toolkit.
Yeah.
They're kind of Ferrari territory when it comes to the cost of these things. But I can make it. Let's see. Not real. Not real. Not real.
The price.
Not real.
Each time he says that, it goes down 1,000. So we're at
That's okay.
5,000,
Nope.
4,000,
Nope.
3,000.
Nothing Harbor Freight yet, so that's, you know, we got a variety. We've got all German stuff, which is good. West Germany, so you know
Okay.
it's old. So this is actually how they were finished back then, which is this dark black oxide finish. So these are good. That is not. That's good.
My Concours points keep going down in the value.
So,
okay.
Oddly enough, this one.
What is that?
So that's your spark plug tool, so you could change your spark plugs.
Whoa.
Which is correct, but not for this car. This is actually probably for another one. So out of all of this, you've got that so far is right.
5 out of 12. Oh, what do you got in there?
Oh, you have a
Fuses?
fuse kit though, yeah.
Okay.
So at least you got the fuse kit.
A very corroded fuse kit.
Very corroded fuse kit. So we'll have to do a little work and see if we can track down a couple of original pieces to go with your setup here.
Yeah. I guess to work on it, you put this over the
Yes, I got that. Now you do, okay, so that's good. Hand me that wrench there. Yeah. So this is actually an original Gullwing hubcap tool. And if you look, it has this little sort of receptacle, and that's so you can take the hubcaps off.
Nice.
So these are actually getting harder and harder to find. So that saved you like $1,000 right there. So every bit helps.
Okay.
Yep. And this is actually a tool that the Gullwing group has come up with that because these cars were designed for racing, obviously. And so this goes in, and then you can actually put a modern nozzle into the tank, so you don't have to hold the. Especially in California, we've got those special vacuum.
That way you don't
gas pump.
because it's a big wide.
It's a big hole.
Big wide
to get
bass
it in
mount.
there.
So we're gonna give it a whiff here. Yeah.
It's.
You don't need to get that.
It's not. It's not great.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see what color it is.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be that color, so it's very. See how amber, dark brown it is?
That is rusty.
That's yeah, it's corroded. It's
probably
it's
get my
not great.
camera
Now
in
it
there.
looks like somebody did put a tank liner in there at some point, so you see that kind of greenish liner. So that's probably a good thing. I don't see a lot of scale down there, so that's a good thing too.
All right.
So that's we've opened these up after we've had cars that have sat for 50 years. And that's really, really bad.
Yeah.
But this isn't terrible news. So I think if we drain this and we put some fresh fuel in, that's a good start to see if we can get this running again.
Well, that's good.
Now I do see another good thing, which is this, which for a lot of people is the scariest jack they will
the
ever
factory
use.
jack.
So this is the factory jack. These are about $8,000 to $12,000 to find them. So again, not cheap. So, and it comes with the handle and the jack itself. And it's kind of unusual. It's not got any teeth on it or anything. And it actually it walks itself up and down. So this is how you go down, and this is how you go up. And it's always amazing to me that your entire car is being lifted off of this very small machine here. So that goes in the side of the hole over there. And a lot of people think that there's supposed to be a cover on that. I see a lot of people like put a plug on there, but actually it's an open hole in the side of your car, which is totally normal.
Okay.
So
I'm glad I have that.
That's good. That saves you some effort there to find one of those.
Right. Well, you want to look under the hood?
Let's look under the hood.
This is where it gets a lot more impressive, at least in my first look.
Yes. Let's take a look.
I was very pleasantly surprised by this.
This is pretty tidy. This is pretty nice.
For a car that was redone probably in the 80s, it's It's looking pretty good.
A lot of these 80s restorations ended up with like polished aluminum intake manifold, polished throttle bodies. They chromed everything. This is very much like they were from the factory. And actually, if you looked at this car that we just finished the restoration on, they don't look too far apart from the the upper cosmetics.
So you're not offended.
This is not bad at all. This is definitely a plus plus. Now there's always little things to go after that maybe need to be done, but generally speaking, I see new fuel hoses. I see a few new oil hoses. Hose clamps. These are probably strange to a lot of people the way these look, but these are all correct. The hoses are correct. Even the little straps here. So this has all been done fairly recently. That looks, maybe within the last few years.
But these braided hoses here probably aren't.
That one's very old.
Okay.
The problem with the braided hoses is that you can no longer see if the hose is cracked because it's inside of that braided shell. So a lot of times those you can almost break them in half because the rubber has gotten so solid. But yeah, this is all great. My favorite's the jar.
The glass jar.
Yep, that's for your washer fluid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is not factory.
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they were. The Roadsters had like a plastic bag.
Okay.
But these actually have a proper.
That's what I thought, like an IV bag. So that's correct.
Correct.
But now, do you top those off as part of your normal service?
We do.
The quick lube.
And I've had debates with judges at Concours about how full it should be for a judged event. Devil's in the details.
Okay.
But we'll fill it up as part of that service for sure.
Well, so where's the high pressure fuel pump and all this?
So it's actually so far down you almost can't even see it when you're in the engine bay. The thing that's unusual to most people about how a 300SL is set up is the engine's actually laying like this, sideways. It's not quite, flat in its design, but it's sitting at about a 30-degree angle. And that's actually why it has these bulbous parts on the hood, is to actually clear the intake manifold and the valve cover, because you can see if you didn't have that, the hood would actually sit below this level. Right. So that's underneath there. Now the other thing that's unique about these is that they are dry sump. So this has an oil tank, and that's your dipstick here on the side.
Yeah, so they mentioned that there was some contamination.
Yeah, so what happens is the fuel and the oil can mix together.
Okay.
And fuel, as you may know, is a absolutely terrible lubricant.
Yeah.
And, well, at least gasoline fuel is anyway.
Well, it's still
oily, but it smells like fuel. You'll smell it, it smells contaminated. And this is actually why on these cars, the recommended oil change interval is 1,000 miles. Okay. So typically, like what we do if we'll do a Colorado Grand or the 300SL Classic or a Cal Melee event is you change the oil before you go and you change the oil when you come back. Because of this fuel dilution, that was one of the compromises they had at the factory when they designed it, was that you just had a little bit more maintenance in terms of your oil changes. Okay. So that's something to kind of get used to. So often we're used to like once a year oil changes and every 10,000 miles. Well, this is a little bit different. So we can look at it and underneath and show you the injection pump so you can see what that looks like.
Sure, yeah, you can barely see it from up here, and then also there was some leaks noted as well, so I'm curious how bad they are.
We can take a look at that too.
Not $1 million, please.
So we're gonna take a look at the car. We're gonna see what is numbers matching, what might not be numbers matching. General condition, we'll take a look at that. But we kind of put a few things out here just to look at. We have the original data card, which is probably the most important piece of paper with each of the cars that we have. So we have records going back into the 1800s for these cars. And so with this one, it tells us where was it delivered, what company ordered the car, what was the color combination, that sort of thing.
It's all in German, so
it's all in German.
I see the colors. It's graphite gray.
Graphite gray, yep. Okay. Graphite gray 190, which is this color. So this is actually what it was originally.
Whoa.
And with red leather, which I think is one of the best color combinations ever.
Something rot.
Rot, yeah.
Rot, yes.
1079 red. So a really great color combination. So that's always nice. They made a color that looks like a frog green. That's not exactly the most attractive, but this is really great color combination.
I don't care about. I'll take anything.
There's
an old photo of this in the Gullwing registry from maybe in the 80s when it was his original colors, which so many cars got restored when they should have probably been preserved as survivors. But it's a Gullwing, I'll take it. And
it's a classic color combination. A lot of these cars actually ended up like the red one behind us, resale red as everybody calls it. In the 80s, that was a very common thing to paint everybody's cars red, but luckily this one is a tasteful silver with black leather.
There's actually a couple cars here that have the original
Yeah, we
colors,
have a
right?
Roadster over there, and we've got a Gullwing over there that are basically the same as how your car was set up originally.
Well, so we're probably not doing a full nut and bolt, the crazy rest. I want it to work.
Yep.
And that's the goal. I'm gonna rock it as is and just have fun with the car. So it's more of a mechanical and what we need to do rather than what we want to do. Because I am the world's poorest Gullwing owner by lots. Multiple zeros probably.
And they can take you down a road that's very expensive. I mean, we're just finishing up on another car right now, and it was about 4,500 hours of labor to do one of those. We're looking at about $1 million restoration on one of these. Not to scare you too much, but it can be quite expensive to do one. But if we're in good shape mechanically and it just needs a few things, then the good part about a 300SL is they're actually not super maintenance heavy because you don't have carburetors, you don't have stuff like that to where you're constantly having to work on it. The fuel injection system is very robust, it's very reliable. Once it's set up and working properly, it'll give you 20, 25 years of use.
Apparently, that's one of the issues with mine. You say that,
Yeah.
but it's been sitting for a long time, and another shop did an inspection, and they said that it was contaminating with the oil, which I know is a very pioneering direct injection, high pressure fuel pump. So can we take a look?
Yeah, we can take a look at that, and we'll smell the fuel first. And
Okay.
I guarantee you that's going to be the indicator as to how bad this really is.
Not $1 million bad.
Not $1 million bad. Let's take a look.
Okay. All right. Up we go.
You're like, avert your eyes, don't look.
Well, Nate, now I'm catching a bit of patina here, so that trim's seen better days. A little bit in the paint. I mean, you can kind of see
It
some...
looks like maybe it was like a blend or something from before where it was touched up.
Right.
And, some of this has been wet sanded and buffed. I will say this is sort of like metallic-wise, we would call this the bass boat finish, which if you grew up around the Midwest or the South, you know exactly
Well, yeah,
what
now
that
you're starting to sound like
reference
the car wizard a little bit, so...
Could be. He's rubbing off on me, I guess.
Yeah, but you're from Kansas, right?
I'm from Kansas, yeah. We grew up not maybe 40 minutes, an hour apart.
Just a big red beard, and you got this.
I'm all set.
You're
Yep.
in, yes. So, going underneath a 300SL Gullwing. I've done many of these underneath inspections. Never thought it'd be with this, so...
Under your own 300SL.
I know. Oh, it's oily. Oh. Yeah, that's some oil leaks. That's...
To be expected
Uh-huh.
on anything this old, obviously.
Right?
Well,
So-
luckily for you, it has one of the biggest oil tanks in the world. So
Okay.
we normally run about 15 quarts of oil in these for a passenger car from the 50s. But the good part about it is even if you drip a little bit of oil, it's not the end of the world. Now, what we do see is from all the typical places. So where you normally have an engine sitting up and down, now you have oil that's collecting in certain areas that it may not normally collect.
Right.
So all these areas where you see an attachment point of another part, these are all areas where you have a potential leak as these pieces go together. The other thing too is because it's tilted, if the valve cover comes off, like if you take the valve cover off to do a valve adjustment, all the oil leaks down on the side of the engine and makes everything very oily.
My mechanic in Kansas, he tastes it.
I'm not gonna do that.
You've never done it before?
No, I'm good. I've tasted it by accident. It's not my favorite.
Oh.
You want to do the diff? That one's the really bad one.
I'm drinking Gullwing oil, and I don't care how bad it tastes. So I had to do it for
fine.
Wizard, but
So yeah,
Okay.
but again, some good things. We've got some new oil hoses down here. That's a good sign. This one's a little bit on the old side, but that's not terrible.
all right.
Obviously we need to also look at some of the suspension and stuff as we go later. We'll check like kingpins to see how worn all this is. This
right.
will be when you're driving, you'll feel a lot of play in the steering, play in the kingpins will make a big difference as well.
And you're right about the fuel injection. It's very easy to see
When you're down here, yep.
And it runs off of
A jack shaft, yeah, that comes
Yeah.
off the front of the motor. So yeah, it's really derived from the aviation industry, World War II. Mercedes-Benz produced engines during the war, and they were very large V12s. They were actually like 44-liter V12s.
Jeez.
And they ran a 12-cylinder injection pump, and it looks almost identical to this. It's just got more cylinders on it, obviously. And but that's where they developed it because they realized that when you're flying inverted when you're diving, when you're going up through altitude, this system actually can handle, even if you're upside down, it'll still run because it's forcibly putting the fuel into the engine. So this is direct injection. It's not the direct injection we have today. It's a little bit different, but it is spraying it directly into the side of the block and directly above the piston. So there's no lines on the top of the motor. It's actually all under here. The other thing that's kind of cool about these is they're altitude compensating themselves. So normally, like let's say you did a rally where you go up 10,000 feet in a car, you're going to start to feel like you need to go out and change jets in a carburetor. Whereas with a Mercedes 300SL injection, it actually has a compensator and it'll change the fuel distribution based on how high or what the temperature is outside. So it's a really great system for that. And like I said, once it's set up and it's running reliably and running good, you won't have to really do anything for quite some time.
Okay, so since it's leaking internally into the oil, it's something that probably has to it's probably something that has to come out and get rebuilt, right?
Potentially, yes. So there's two elements here. This is actually what the injection system and the injection pump look like. So there's really two main elements here. This is the fuel pump. So this is sucking the fuel from the tank in the back, and it's pressurizing it and sending it into the main metering unit, which is this part. What happens, the leakage is actually between here and here. So as this pump wears out, there's a piston pump inside this. As this pump wears out, then oil and fuel are able to mix together. It's exacerbated by a few things. Modern fuel with its ethanol is a problem in these cars. They tend to vapor lock very easily. Part of that is because, as you can see from underneath here, the injection pump is sitting up against a giant heater, which is the engine block itself. So what we always tell our customers to do is make sure there's an electric fuel pump in the back. If you're sitting in traffic, you turn that on. It helps to circulate cold fuel up to the engine a little bit more efficiently, and you get to cool the fuel down. So this is what we'll have to look at and determine, is it just the fuel pump, that's the less expensive option, or is the whole metering unit need to be rebuilt? That's a little bit more expensive.
So if it's just this, what do you think I'm looking at?
A few grand to try to fix what's going on in this one.
The whole kit and caboodle?
Well, that can run 15 grand to take it out, recalibrate it, put it back together again.
Okay.
Now, it could be worse. If you needed a whole new one, there are a few of these. Bring a Trailer, I know they've sold at least 2 recently, and I don't think they were less than $25,000 for a new one.
Well, mine's attached, it's right here.
It's right there, so we're gonna try to make that work. Now, if it was missing, you'd have a really bad day. But luckily, it's still there.
All right, so the only one that concerned me as far as the leaks, so they talked about there's leaks in other places. But they said the rear main seal was leaking on this one, and I don't know. Like a lot of old cars, they can leak a little bit and be okay, but if this one's a gusher.
Now, unfortunately with this system, so these are what's called a Borgman rope seal. And it's literally a 2-piece seal that it looks like a piece of rope that's impregnated with graphite these days. Probably back in the old days, it had asbestos in it or something else like that.
Wonderful.
But the modern ones don't. And that tends to wear out. There's also a series what we call rifling, just like on a gun, where you have a rifling around the outside edges for the bore. This kind of does the same thing. As it spins, it pushes the oil back into the engine instead of out to the outside.
Okay. So when it sits, it'll
what tends to happen is, as it sits. Now, what we can do is we can get it running and driving and put some miles on it and make a determination how bad is bad. There is sort of a acceptable level of leakage. So we can determine, like, is this okay? Is this excessive? We'll try to find a good happy point for that.
Gotcha.
Directly behind the engine, obviously, is our gearbox. We do see a little bit of red. What's really strange is that Mercedes used automatic transmission fluid.
That tastes okay.
Yeah, it's ATF. It's clean. It's a detergent-based
I've never done this before. Usually my mechanic does it just for gags, but I have to.
Well, now you're into it. So if you look, it looks like somebody made a cake and put icing all over it, and that would be RTV. So obviously the transmission is leaking, and somebody tried a little bit of a Band-Aid repair. So that's something we should probably look at. Trying to plug the leak from the outside doesn't really ever work. The only way to fix that, obviously, is to reseal the transmission, which we do quite often around here.
Is this old horsehair right here?
So that actually is felt. So this is the original felt. They call it waffle felt. because it looks like it was made in a waffle iron. It has kind of a pattern to it. And it's there to absorb some of the heat and some of the noise and catch the grease that flies around in here.
So you think that's original equipment?
Yeah, that's definitely original. That's never been touched.
From 55.
Yeah. And looking at the bottom of the floor pan, so all of this is all original. So my guess is the floor tub's never been out. This one definitely has been out, but they didn't restore it in the traditional sense. This is dented up a little bit. So again, sometimes people hit things going down the road. So this is kind of pushed up into the floor.
Okay.
The one big thing I see that isn't here are the belly pans. So normally this car would have front to back pans that go all the way through. There's 3 of them, front, middle, and rear. And that was all 300SLs had it. And the idea at that time was to help get airflow through the bottom of the car, just like the SLR Sterling Moss and a whole host of modern cars that use that. So that's something in the future. They're actually, we do make replicas of the original pan. So if you ever get like 40 grand or so. So if you're, if you get a little bit of disposable income, we'll go that route. So yeah, drive shaft going back, we'll check that out, see what kind of wear we have, anything in the U-joints.
I should say, I shouldn't flinch that much. The fact that you all are still making everything, and it's like anything can be gotten for these cars is so incredible compared to so many other vintage cars where the hunt for parts and just creating them from scratch is an impossible task. And the great thing about these old Mercedes is the Collector Center exists to keep these going. So
it's a bit of a battle sometimes to figure out what's the most important parts to produce. And for those Mercedes people out there that say, oh, make a 123 dashboard, right, for a 240 diesel or something. That's not as easy as it may sound to make.
I have a blue dash at home, or they're black on that, but
it's always got little cracks.
And my 107SL, same thing.
So, but parts for these are very readily available. And even like the gas tank we talked about earlier, those are still available. We went back into manufacture of those, and we had a need for the fact that they were a problem.
Okay.
So rear axle's got some needs.
We got a very fancy boot here that looks like it is leaking.
Yeah, so this is an independent rear suspension. You've got a center carrier here in the middle where the ring and the pinion are contained. Now these are fully locking differentials.
Wow.
So it's not like a typical limited slip. It's kind of a mechanical setup. But it does use these 2 boots to make the axles pivot. These are what we call split boots, where they have like the screws in there. And the problem with those are they leak. Even if you put brand new ones in, they're gonna leak.
Okay, so this one isn't bad then.
It's not too bad, but what we prefer to put is a solid boot on there.
Okay.
The only problem is to do a solid boot, we have to take this whole part of the axle apart to slide them over to put them in position.
It's probably fine. The thing I'm noticing, like these mounts.
They're not great. They're starting to get liquefied.
They might be original equipment.
They are. This is definitely original.
From 55.
I would even say, looking at the way the cotter pin is folded over and the way it's painted over, and these pins have never been out. So this differential has never left this frame. It's always been in there.
Wow.
The gas tank's got some dings and dents on it. Again, because it kind of hangs down here, if you do run over anything, it kind of tends to hit that part of the
shocks
setup.
Look a little...
that is probably the most liquefied mount I've ever seen on a rear shock. So the shocks are definitely
toast.
gone.
That would ride like absolute garbage, probably.
So luckily, again, we can still get shocks for these, and we can replace those. Exhaust systems, we can still get those parts. Tires, obviously, are pretty straightforward. So not a horror show, I would say, but definitely some needs to bring it into that part of the world.
All right, so
Michael, you come here.
Yeah, come join us, Michael. We're come on. We're going to Genesis here, man. You're the one.
That was Genesis.
You are the reason why we are all here today. Well, I mean, both of you are the reason.
Look
obviously,
at this.
But
I mean, it was for sale, and obviously I couldn't afford it, but it was so cool that it was a Survivor. They'd just gone through it. They were selling it through the Classic Center, and invited me out for promotion to sell it. Like the dumbest YouTuber, like, hey, come drive the 300SL, and Michael had no idea how weird I was for these. I'm pretty weird for him, obviously. So
I'm pretty weird myself, so I think we get along fairly well. So
yeah.
So that was the one.
So, but tell us a little bit more about your experience in it. Tell us a little bit more about what the Mille Miglia was like, what it was like doing with the Classic Center, what it was like doing with this car.
Well, so this one was a 17-mile drive in Pebble Beach, so I didn't get to flog it all that much.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. This was Pebble Beach.
The first drive.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood.
In 2021.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I imagine it like you pulled up to the Mercedes-Benz booth in your Countach.
In my Countach, yeah.
Nice.
You parked it there, which was amazing. That got me a lot of positive comments.
They didn't like that very much. Yeah.
And then I took you on a 17-mile drive with it because I watched one of your videos and you've mentioned that it's your dream car, and I was
It is.
like, I can make that happen.
It was, you know, you meet your heroes and like, okay, this is an old junkety car. No. It drives, you know, the tubular chassis. I mean, this thing's so far ahead of its time as far as the way it feels, the way it accelerates everything. It feels like something that's decades newer, but
Yes,
it's just,
it really does.
It's timeless. The car is so timeless. So I was just, how do I get one? How do I? And when we were done driving, I didn't want to get out. I was so upset. Michael was.
No, we shared an
Michael was like,
there.
yeah. So that, and then going to the Mille Miglia, which was in a black Gullwing that is not here.
Okay.
That was a crazy moment. And then the next one was, it's this guy under the tarp here, which is.
Can we pull the tarp off?
I think we can pull the top off, but that's the SLR one.
Yes, this is the SLR that we got to ride on the track with.
I mean,
at Moda.
just to be in this car's presence is, wow.
So that's the next step.
Yeah. So that's, you know, I go to a car show in my Bugatti and then ride in this, and like, what am I doing? Like, what an idiot! Why did I get something? You know, obviously this is an absolute legend right here. That
It doesn't get more
being
legendary
here is
than this car,
unbelievable.
man.
So, yeah. So then, like, okay, maybe I start shopping the sale of my Bugatti to figure it out, and it took a little while, but eventually you sniffed out that I was selling, and it just happened to be that you found the car.
Yeah. The stars really aligned on that one. I mean, yeah, right in the moment when you were starting to sniff. I mean, I'd been working on the purchase of that car since February, and
Wow.
you were sniffing. I mean, we first talked in June,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, but it took even longer thereafter for me to be able to secure that car because
Right.
it was. You know, it was such a cherished part of its family.
I think we talked about it once before because you were looking at a Roadster. And
Yeah.
I was holding out for the Gullwing
you
before I bought the Bugatti.
Yeah, so you didn't have the Bugatti yet.
Yeah,
So,
but this, look at this.
Oh,
It shoots flames when you're in the passenger seat.
hot, nasty
It is
flames.
Crazy.
Hot, nasty flames. I cannot begin, Michael, I cannot begin to imagine what this thing is like to drive. This car to me, I mean, we're just gonna put aside the value, the significance of this car, just the mechanical excellence of the car, the beauty of the car. This has always been
Do you want to lick it?
one of my favorite. I would lick it, but I think there'd probably be a team of German commandos that'll like swoop in from the rafters and probably murder me if I were to lick this thing. But
He's nodding.
No,
Lick
it's
it.
Like,
we're having a moment,
we're having
Lick
a
it.
licking moment.
Like, if you really want to, like, I'm not stopping you.
What a sicko. You're right. Gross. Disgusting. Oh. Oh, you sick
Nasty.
man.
Nasty, terrible. But
It
if any-
looks much worse seeing another man do it, so I'll probably never do it again, honestly. I'll never do it again. Now I saw someone else do it. Now I saw how disturbing it looks like I'm having that self-aware moment.
Oh, and don't
Okay.
worry, you're gonna get to see yourself lick cars for a hot minute. It's gonna be great.
Oh boy.
Well, we're gonna share that delightfully awkward moment, and yeah. But I mean, look, obviously, when you're overcome with all that's going on here, you make questionable decisions.
Yes.
It's okay.